Hi guys, welcome back. All right, so Ophiuchus, welcome back, welcome back. Let's get into this for you guys and see where we go with this one. I am asking the question, what's the energy, the imagery coming in from the universe right now? And we start out with a 9 of Wands, which is about the energy of a warrior who has already come through those battlefields, who is a little fatigued, but is this close to having that final breakthrough where they are no longer on the battlefield at all. So it's gaining wisdom, it's healing, it's gaining fortitude. And if you look closely, this particular card is very much an encouragement for Ophiuchus. Up on the surface, we see the kangaroo race happening, but right here off to the side, we see the edge of the landmass, and it's kind of like a sacred canyon where we have, sacred artwork, and we have these didgeridoos, and there's this energy of what has been brought to the surface during the struggles and the battles that Ophiuchus has gone through has been a deep way to connect with maybe their spiritual ancestry. This could be a character who is being asked to recognize that if they went through some really difficult times of their life and had to actually retreat from a period of time from, I look at the kangaroo race as like, the rat race of life, right? Busy, 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 all these other people. We feel like we should be keeping up with the Joneses, or we compare our life to what everybody else's life looks like. How far are they? What age are they when they bought their first house? All that stuff. This Ophiuchus may have not been running in that race with anybody in a while, and they might have watched and they might have thought, why am I not able to do what they're doing? Because Ophiuchus, you've had a completely different journey. You've had a completely different, and I would argue possibly a more profound, how do I want to say this? I don't want to minimize anybody's life purpose or life journey is somehow less important. So therefore, Ophiuchus has a way more important life than everybody else. I don't mean it that way, but I will say that this level of depth, not everybody is going to want to go have the capacity or the wisdom to go down the road of this spiritual growth, at least not at the same time. This could be an Ophiuchus who happened to go through a very profound spiritual transformation, where some people maybe don't do that until they're much, much older. Maybe this is the thing that sometimes happens to people, in their golden years, or when they're looking back at what their life has been and they have their regrets, and then they finally start to have a spiritual awakening. Well, this looks like it happened to Ophiuchus at a time when maybe none of their peers were going through this. So Ophiuchus could have felt a bit like an outsider. They could have felt a bit like, why am I not out there in the kangaroo race with everybody else? Darling, it's because you're actually ahead of the game. You're not behind the pack. You're way in front of it, and you didn't even know it. You're like the time traveler who's, 35, 45, 55 years ahead of the rest of them. Now, again, does that make any character superior or inferior? No, I'm just saying that the growth that Ophiuchus is doing is different than the growth that other characters were going through. They might have been out there getting their money, and Ophiuchus was in here doing the internal, finding the internal abundance and huge wealth. Ultimately, do I think life can be lived at a more profoundly comfortable and meaningful space if there has been a spiritual growth first? Yes, because it's going to change. When we jump into the kangaroo race and we start, building a business, pursuing careers, relationships, if we have the spiritual concept where we know ourselves that deeply, all of a sudden we might have a more streamlined approach to what job we go into, what career path really suits us. We might be better even at finding a relationship, and whether it succeeds or fails, we're like, yeah, but I was choosing something based off of what my spiritual path is. So I see things differently. It's a little bit like, in the being able to let go of things after we've gained the experience without feeling wounded and tragic over it, or knowing what pathway really suits us so we don't flounder and waste 15 years working for 7 different companies, none of which at all were resume builders, nor were they fulfilling jobs. Like that's what this Ophiuchus is actually sidestepping without realizing it. They figured out their spiritual context first, while everybody else in their peer group was perhaps in the kangaroo race. So this is kind of like for Ophiuchus to give themselves a little pat on the back on that one, because I think they did a totally different journey, but I think that they're ahead of the pack right now, even though all this time they've been thinking that they got benched and been sidelined. No, not at all. Look at a Princess of Swords. This says that Ophiuchus is probably going to notice this pretty quickly. They've been more concerned with that deeper internal aspect of their growth. Now they're about to recognize maybe the things that we've just kind of identified with that first card. I think Ophiuchus is going to understand this. They're going to understand the difference between the way they view the world, thanks to this growth they've had, versus the way other people view the world. And I think that they're going to recognize, oh, I get it now. I was doing things differently. We have a 10 of Swords, followed by the Hermit in the reverse. The quiet time, the quiet journey. Hi, Tammy. Good to see you, love. Happy Easter, honey. The quiet time and quiet journey that Ophiuchus has been on, their time to be quiet is coming to a close. Their time to kick up their heels and party is coming up. Their time to get into the kangaroo race is coming up. But they're going to realize that they have a huge advantage. They're operating with wisdom. What they're putting an end to is feeling like an outsider, or feeling like, God, why am I not doing the things everybody else is doing? Why did I not, get married and divorced 3 times? God, I wish I had, just so I'd fit into the rest of my friend group. Maybe this Ophiuchus didn't do that because they didn't have to go and learn lessons with the wrong relationships, because they actually found their inner compass. They did the work internally, whereas other people maybe do it externally. It's not really to say one is better or worse, one path is better or worse. It's just different. But I will say that Ophiuchus's time to be confused, they're not going to be confused at all. If they wondered, why am I not doing what everyone else is doing, they're about to, I think, take off like a little rocket, but I think they're going to have a streamlined success. The Hermit's journey is where we're quiet, we're introspective, because we're trying to sort things out. Ophiuchus has already done that. That's why the Hermit's in the reverse. 10 of Swords says it's a completion of the thing that kind of make me feel a little bit lonely. I mean, I can't think of anything much lonelier than an empty greenhouse, and we're looking out, we're not on Earth anymore, we're out here in the cosmos. But this was like a gardener of the cosmos. That's the best way I could describe this Ophiuchus, and they are realizing that about themselves. Ophiuchus could be a bit of a mystic. They maybe needed to embrace that, be comfortable realizing that about themselves, not feel like, God, I'm such a weirdo, I'm such an outsider, why does nobody understand me? Why don't I fit in with my peer group? They're now realizing, okay, let's put it this way. Why would a 25-year-old get the same enjoyment out of building little blocks as, what maybe a 3 to 4-year-old would get out of it? They probably don't. Now, they may still play with blocks if they're a physicist or something, but they would be thinking about it as like, okay, wait a second. Let me look at mass times force. Let me look at, what's the most stable, configuration. Let me think about it in the context of like the fabric of the universe and how atoms link together. And, they may be looking at blocks, and they're not seeing little blocks of like A's and B's, they're not looking at it in that context. They would be seeing it in a whole different view. So even if Ophiuchus was basically playing with all the same ingredients in life, their application was so different, always has been. They understand that part about themselves now. They understand not everybody is seeing the fabric of the universe and being a gardener of the cosmos the way they are. They're on a bit of a different plane, but they accept it because it makes sense to them now. I think this is, I think everything in Ophiuchus's life is going to roll much smoother now, because they really fully have accepted this aspect of themselves. And I think that the kinds of people that they connect to, first off, I think Ophiuchus is headed for a real cosmic soulmate. We see these 2 little lizards that are having a good old time out here in the fall leaves. So, of course, if you're down under, which of course we started out with Australia, so there could be a strong connection to Australia or New Zealand or something, but it's fall. They're going into fall, whereas in the northern hemisphere up here, we're going into spring. So they've got that inverted relationship. Or maybe this is somebody who lives in the northern hemisphere and it's by fall. They will have met someone that is on the same path, someone who runs parallel to them, somebody whose journey is probably going to be very similar to the journey that Ophiuchus has gone through, the thought processes. I feel like this could begin as like a telepathic connection. Maybe Ophiuchus and this person they're going to discover that somehow, some way, this is someone that they've seen at a distance but never conversed with, somebody who keeps being in their sphere or their realm. Or it could be that Ophiuchus starts actually gravitating toward a career path, a friend group, an activity that puts them in the same general direction with whomever this person is. The Two of Wands is about the choice that we make in life. Well, Ophiuchus has just now gotten to the point where they can openly, wholeheartedly choose the path that is authentic for them, which is, yeah, I'm a cosmic gardener. I'm a mystic. I'm a little different in the way I view the world, but I always have been, and I so embrace it now. And guess what? I can embrace a partnership with someone who sees that as well. I had to get this far down my road before I was going to meet someone who's made that similar. It's kind of like Ophiuchus is really accepting themselves. Tammy, thank you, honey. You are so generous. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. That is such a beautiful donation. And happy Easter to you also, love. We have the Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune here. Sorry, guys. Things are turning so beautifully in Ophiuchus's favor at this point. I will say all of this entire series that I've done has really kind of had the sun at the heart of it, which of course we're coming up to that really potent, really beautiful total solar eclipse on April the 8th. And although I didn't intend these to have anything to do with that yet, I was going to do a whole separate segment of videos for eclipse videos. I have to say this really keeps saying again and again that our characters, no matter what zodiac we're talking about, seem to be impacted in a beautiful way, because it kind of denotes like the closure and the new beginning of like a new karmic cycle for like everybody. I know sometimes we think about that more with the new year or something like that, but this whole series of reads seems to keep centering on some significant changes, some big breakthroughs, some, the positive karma that we've accrued and accumulated in life is pushing characters into a new, like a new strata. For some characters in some zodiacs, I've seen them go into relationships. For others, I've seen them heal relationships. And for others, I've just seen them get on new trajectories. I did Taurus's video that'll come out in just a little bit. I have to edit a dog bark out of it before I can release it. But for this story, I would say it is all of the above. It's Ophiuchus has recognized something about why their path in life was different than other people's. This could be an Ophiuchus that's a little more mature age, and they're wondering why didn't they find certain, like the perfect partner at a younger age? Why didn't they have the perfect career path? Why didn't they get ready to build a home in one area? Because they were not ready for that yet. They had to first fully embrace who and what they were. And now, guess what? They can present this. Lots of you have heard me say this since the beginning of my channel. Even though I'm a huge Virgo, I don't identify as one. It never fitted me at all. And I don't care. Actually, I'm a double Virgo, but I don't even care about my sun and rising sign. I care about my North Node. I've said that for all the years I've had my channel. And I feel like this could be an Ophiuchus that is leaning into their North Node, because that's kind of like where we're going in this lifetime. And I feel like that has been the acknowledgement that has been slowly coming to the forefront of Ophiuchus's mindset, maybe for a lot of their life, and they're fully there. Four of Pentacles in the reverse is releasing, not that they haven't lived a beautiful life so far, but they're releasing the old concept of who they used to be and saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't know until now. Of course, I'm a mystic. Of course, I'm going to see the world in a different way. Of course, I fully embrace this. And I'm never probably going to look at my life and compare it to others the way I used to ever again. We have a Princess of Wands and we have a Prince of Swords. I think Ophiuchus's life is going to go from, I mean, hell, maybe this is somebody who said, my life has been kind of like slow, steady progression, but kind of a lot of plateaus, a lot of maybe stagnancies, a lot of years that I didn't see a lot of things change. It's not true. All the change was happening deep inside under the surface. But now we're going to see it all external. We're going to see Ophiuchus suddenly in a very powerful relationship. We're going to see them suddenly have all kinds of ideas that they have up here coming into fruition. I feel like it's going to be kind of like if they have a ton of different like creative ideas, especially when they blend energies with this new partnership, I feel like things that were only in their mind are going to suddenly become reality. They're suddenly going to become like a total builder. Like it's like their whole vision board is going to start popping up into reality in their life. And it's probably going to be a year where they may get more accomplished from October through January of 2025 than they have in the previous 30 years. It could be that so many ideas have been kind of like cooking, baking, churning inside of this Ophiuchus. And it's only just now that their energy, their mysticism, their manifestation abilities have clicked into the perfect alignment with this portal that's opening in the universe, as well as kind of meeting that possibly really divine partner that matches them. It's kind of like, oh, that I love that song, that Neil Diamond, you are the words, I am the tune, play me. It feels like that. Like Ophiuchus is coming into total harmony. They needed to get here before their alignment was going to be in perfect alignment with something else. And now it's like, wow, we just made double the progress. That's what I see in this. All right, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you again, Tammy. You're so generous. Everybody have a beautiful day. I will do a couple more storylines tonight, and then I'll still be doing some tomorrow as well. So I will see you guys for Easter also. But take care, and thanks again, you guys. Bye.